श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तो आज हम पढ़ रहे हैं श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 10 द समम बोनम चैप्टर 15 द किलिंग ऑफ धेनुका द एस डीमन वर्स नंबर 13 10.15.13 चकोर क्रांशन चक्राव भारद्वाजांश्च बर्हिना अनुरौति स्म सत्त्वानां भीतवद्व्याघ्रसिंहयो चकोर क्रांशन चक्राव भारद्वाजांश्च बर्हिना अनुरौति स्म सत्त्वानां भीतवद्व्याघ्रसिंहयो चकोर क्रांशन चक्राव भारद्वाजांश्च बर्हिना अनुरौति स्म सत्त्वानां भीतवद्व्याघ्रसिंहयो प्लीज रिसाइट चक्रोक्रांच चक्राव भारद्वाजांश्च बर्हिना अनुरौति स्म सत्त्वानां भीतवद्व्याघ्रसिंहयो चकोर क्रांच चक्राव भारद्वाजांश्च बर्हिना अनुरौति स्म सत्त्वानां भीतवद्व्याघ्रसिंहयो। माता जी चकोर क्रांच चक्राव भारद्वाजांश्च बर्हिना अनुरौति स्म सत्त्वानां भीतवद्व्याघ्रसिंहयो चकोर क्रौंच चक्राव भारद्वाजांच द चकोरा क्रांच चक्राव and Bhardwaja birds, Barhina the peacocks, Anurauti sma he would call out in imitation of Sattvanam together with the other creatures, Bhitavad acting as if afraid, Vyaghra Simhayo of the tigers and lions. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Sometimes he would cry out in imitation of birds such as the chakoras, crouchers, chakravas, bhardwajas, and peacocks. And sometimes he would run away with the smaller animals in mock fear of lions and tigers. Purport. The word bhitavat, as if afraid, indicates that Lord Krishna played just like an ordinary boy and ran with the smaller forest creatures in mock fear of the lions and tigers. Actually, in Vrindavan, the abode of the Lord, the lions and tigers are not violent, and thus there is no reason to fear them. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 15, verse number 13, translation. Sometimes he would cry out in imitation of birds, such as the chakoras, crouchers, chakravas, bhardwajas, and peacocks. And sometimes he would run away with the smaller animals in mock fear of lions and tigers. Hare Krishna. So ये क्लास इंग्लिश में होगा. जिनको हिंदी में सुनना है वो पीछे श्याम सुंदर प्रभु ट्रांसलेट कर रहे हैं, वहाँ पर बैठ सकते हैं. ऐसे कोई हैं जिनको अंग्रेजी नहीं समझता है, पीछे बैठ सकते हैं, पीछे ट्रांसलेट हो रहा है. थैंक यू. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all of you after the second wave of COVID. This is the first Sunday class in the morning, first Sunday, by the mercy of Radha Ras Bihari. Yeah, soon we will start the afternoon program also. So herein we are reading Krishna's childhood pastimes in the forest. First we read Krishna's childhood pastimes in his house, then Krishna's childhood pastimes in his neighborhood, stealing mud butter, and now in the forest. After the Damodar Leela, Krishna got promoted and he started taking care of calves. And with the calves, he and Balaram and other friends, they would go and play in the forest whole day. So these verses are describing various games and various plays and various activities Krishna, Balram and their sakhas used to perform in the forest of Vrindavan. So in particular, this is describing how Krishna would imitate the various calls of the birds. The birds mentioned here are not very popular in our sight and our study. Chakora and Croucher and Chakravaha and Bhardwaj. Peacock we know as more popular. Krishna would also sing like cuckoos and other birds. So just like small children, even today, they play in that way. They imitate the noises of frog and cow and monkey, and then they all laugh together, hearing the imitation sound. So Krishna Balram would also play like that, imitating the sounds of the birds and the animals, and then they will laugh. Sometimes, if the small animals are running out of fear because they hear some roar of a lion or a tiger, Krishna will also imitate that fear, and he will also run. Sometimes there is a roar of lion in the far off distance, then Krishna's sakhas would be fearful and they will run. Then Krishna will run with them. And sometimes Krishna will make the noise of lion and tiger from his mouth, and all the friends would become afraid and they run, and Krishna will run with them. Bhago, 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 bhoot aaya, sher aaya. So Krishna knows there is no lion, I am making the noise. But still he would run as if he is fearful. And his friends will also run. So when real lion makes noise, at that time also Krishna is not fearful. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami explains that fear is afraid of Krishna. Fear personified is afraid of Krishna. डर भगवान से डरता है. Fear is afraid of Krishna. Why will Krishna be afraid of a petty lion? But here Krishna is imitating an ordinary boy who is fearful, who is hungry, who is thirsty, who is crying, who is restless, who wants to play. Why is he imitating like an ordinary boy? What benefit he is getting by that? When he is imitating like an ordinary boy, then his loving devotees who are in Sakhya ras, friendship, or who are in Vatsalya ras, parents, they develop more and they increase their love for him. How can there be Vatsalya if the child is not dependent on the mother? How can there be affectionate care if the child is Supreme Personality of Godhead and is maintaining the mother? So the exchange between Yashoda Maiya and Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and Krishna, that loving exchange can remain only if Krishna is not God. Krishna is not exhibiting his opulences of God, but he is dependent on them as an ordinary boy doing naughty activities. So that Yashoda Maiya is happy and pleased, Krishna acts as a naughty child, dependent on the mother. So that sakhas are having good time and fun and masti. Krishna acts as an ordinary boy, fearing the lion, becoming hungry, playing victory and defeat in competition. So this is Krishna's mercy on these devotees, that Krishna naturally acts in a way that their love for Krishna increases. And Krishna does that not just with Yashoda Maiya, not just with his friends, he does with us also. Krishna reciprocates with us in our life in such a way that our attachment to him increases. So there may be two devotees offering same prayers, and Krishna may respond to them opposite, but the result will be same. So one devotee is offering prayers, I want wealth. Another devotee is offering prayers, I want wealth. And the first devotee gets wealth. Second devotee does not get wealth. But the result is same. And what is the same result? The first devotee, after getting wealth, gets attached to Krishna, that he gave me wealth. Very nice boy. Second devotee, after not getting wealth, gets attached to Krishna. He continues intensely praying. So both get attached to Krishna. That's Krishna's reciprocation. He knows if I give this devotee wealth, he will serve me better. And this devotee, if I give him wealth, he will go down in bhakti. So better I don't give him wealth and he will continue to serve me. So we should not compare ourselves with others. That Krishna gave him and did not give me. I am more qualified or I am more eligible. No, we should not compare. We have a unique individual relationship with Krishna. And he knows what is best for us. So he takes care of us in that individual way. And if we see how he is taking care of others and compare, unnecessary we will doubt. So for example, you are in the hospital admitted on the bed, and the doctor comes and examines a neighbor patient and says, okay, give him dal rice every day. And then he examines you and says, give him liquid diet. And you say, this doctor is not nice. To me only soup, and to him dal rice. I want new doctor. No, your health condition is such that liquid diet is good for you. And his health condition is such that dal rice diet is good for him. So both are patients. Both are under the care of the same doctor. Both are in the same ward. Both are in the same location. And both are receiving care. But the way is different. It depends on what is good for me. So what is good for me, Krishna is doing. And whatever Krishna does, a faithful devotee, his attachment to Krishna will increase. So Krishna behaving like an ordinary naughty boy in Vrindavan, the result is all Brajvasis, their attachment to Krishna increases. And that is Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Dham is a place where whoever goes, his attachment to Krishna increases. That's why we want to visit Vrindavan Dham. We like to visit Vrindavan Dham because our attachment to Krishna increases. We come to temple, our attachment to Krishna increases. By having darshan of beautiful Sri Sri Radha Ras Bihari, by dancing in kirtan, by chanting japa, by offering obeisances, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class, by honoring Mahaprasadam, by performing service, by all this, by association of devotees, our attachment to Krishna increases. So any contact with Krishna is beneficial for us. Any response of Krishna for our prayers is beneficial for us. When Kunti Maharani offered prayers, Krishna just smiled, didn't speak anything. When Indra offered prayers, Krishna spoke and gave him instructions how not to be proud. When Brahma offered prayers, Krishna didn't even smile, remained silent. So we see these three examples. Devotees are offering prayers to Krishna and Krishna's response is different. At one place he is smiling, at other place he is silent, other place he is speaking. But all three are getting benefit. So most of our devotees have experienced when they offer prayers to Radha Raspberry, he only smiles. But you are getting benefit. Chamatkar is happening in your life. Miracles are happening in your life. And he smiles. He can speak also, but he knows we will disobey. That will be offense, so he doesn't speak. The day you are ready to obey, he will speak. And that will benefit us further. So Sri Vrindavan Dham is like that. Everybody gets attached to Krishna, even lions and tigers. Lions and tigers in Vrindavan are not violent. They don't have envy. Because the influence of Vrindavan makes them transcendental. Generally, in our ordinary conversations, we say, a lion is naturally violent. A tiger is naturally violent. A boy and girl, young boy and young girl naturally get attracted to each other. इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है? That's natural. But actually it's not natural. See, there is constitutional position, Swarupa, and conditional position, Badatma. So the soul constitutionally, naturally is servant of Krishna with all good qualities. When the soul is under the three modes of material nature, some conditions are put on the soul. And under the modes, the soul is angry, envious, violent, or etc. So these violence, anger, hatred are not natural. Lion becoming anger is not natural. It appears natural in the material existence, but actually it's artificial. Because originally, by nature, the soul in the lion body is servant of Krishna with all good qualities, including non-violence. But when the soul comes in the material existence, the influence of three modes make him alter his behavior, have an artificial behavior. So lion is artificially behaving under the influence of mode of passion as violent. But we are so much used to these three modes that we think it's natural. Like our Mumbai citizens are so used to crowd in local train, they think this is natural way of life. Or somebody who stays near a open drainage with very bad smell, he thinks this is a natural way of life, this is how we should stay. And if they go to a place where there is no bad smell, they will not get sleep. Because nature अच्छा नहीं है. So, because of our long duration existence and experience in this conditional world, we think whatever happening around us is natural, but it is all unnatural, artificial, conditioned by the three modes of material nature. The mode of goodness, the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance are putting conditions and binding us, and we are helplessly behaving as per the mode. So, night helplessly I feel sleepy because of tamogun. Daytime I feel very active because of rajogun. And morning and evening I feel nice and fresh because of goodness, satogun. So the modes are active. If I go to temple, I feel nice. If I go to a very crowded railway station, so much passion. I have seen people outside the station, on the road, very calm, peaceful walking. And then they go inside the station on the bridge. So much passion is generated that in next 2 minutes they have to catch that train. Even though after every 3 minutes there is a train. Outside they may wait 10 minutes, no problem. Aram se. On the road they will spend 10-15 minutes, no problem. But on the bridge they cannot spend more than 2 minutes. They have to catch the next train. So as soon as they enter the station, mode of passion is so much. Like even those who devotees come to the temple, here you may spend so much time. If the class goes little 15 minutes extra, no problem. If the prasadam queue is little longer and you get prasadam 20 minutes extra, no problem. After prasadam you meet a friend and you spend 30 minutes extra, no problem. But when you go to Andheri station, in 2 minutes you have to catch a train. Mode of passion is so highly influencing us just by the place. Just by being in that station, just by being in that place. Same way those who go to gambling dens or liquor areas, mode of ignorance takes over and they want to try it. एक बार तो पी ले जिंदगी में. One sip. अरे why don't you go to poison center and say एक बार तो पी ले जिंदगी में. One sip I want to take. Why? Because you are in that place. So that tamogun is heavy. But this is all unnatural, artificial, conditioning. The natural situation is I am servant of Krishna. So when the souls come to Krishna consciousness, then the lower modes go away. The influence of lower mode goes away and a natural condition starts appearing. And in natural condition, there is no envy, there is no violence, there is no anger. So even the lions and tigers in Vrindavan are not envious, are not violent. Why? Because their natural condition is appearing. And we have classic example of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was traveling to Vrindavan, walking in the forest of Jharkhand. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was walking in the forest of Jharkhand with his assistant Balbhadra Bhattacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy. He thought Vrindavan has already come because the forest looks like Vrindavan. So he would raise his hands and chant and dance, and tears flow from his eyes, and he would not even understand or remember where he is. That was his ecstasy, that was his bhav. So like this, when he was walking one day, right on the path there was a tiger lying down, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet touched the tiger, walking. Balbhadra Bhattacharya was walking behind him, and he became afraid that now this tiger will attack. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet touched the tiger who was lying down asleep, he woke up. He saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, please chant Hare Krishna. And the tiger started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And Balbhadra Bhattacharya was surprised that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making tiger chant Hare Krishna. Then as they moved forward, there was a small lake, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to take bath. So Balbhadra Bhattacharya was holding the clothes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the banks of the lake, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went in the waters, taking bath, swimming in the waters. At that time, a big herd of elephants came, huge elephants, jungly elephants, forest animals. Many, 10, 12. They came towards the lake to drink water and bathe. And when 10, 12 elephants go in the lake, you know what will happen? Balbhadra Bhattacharya became very afraid that these elephants will go in the lake and attack Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or harm Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I should save him. That's my job as an assistant, to save him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw these big elephants. He took water and started splashing water on them. Balbhadra Bhattacharya became more afraid. He said, what is Mahaprabhu doing? He is inviting them to attack him. He is splashing water on them. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was splashing water on them and laughing, the touch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental hand made the water transcendental. And that transcendental water touched the elephants. They came out of their three modes. And Chaitanya told them, chant Hare Krishna, and the elephants started chanting and dancing, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And some elephants are jumping, some elephants are crying, some elephants fell unconscious, some elephants are rolling on the ground in ecstasy, chanting the holy name of Krishna. And again Balbhadra Bhattacharya was surprised. Then as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started walking, and the snakes were there, and the goats were there, and the rhinoceros were there, and by the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they also started chanting in ecstasy. And all the animals gathered together, the tigers and the goats are embracing and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and the elephants and snakes are embracing, and rhinoceros and goats are embracing and chanting, and the birds got attracted, and the trees and the creepers. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remembered, this is Vrindavan, where not a single animal is violent or envious of another animal. This is Vrindavan, where devotees are not envious of each other. They are very peaceful, very calm, and everybody is growing in devotional service. Srila Prabhupada writes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can make animals chant and dance in ecstasy. We are ordinary humans. We can't make animals chant and dance in ecstasy. But at least you can make other humans chant and dance in ecstasy. So we should go out and preach, distribute books. And let me add, if you can't make other humans chant and dance, at least you yourself can chant and dance. If we don't do that, then we are worse than animals. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could make animals chant but not you. That means we are worse than animals. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan. However Patita we are, he can purify us. So don't spoil his brand name by not chanting, not getting purified. So at least we should take responsibility of our bhakti, that let me every day chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra without offenses. And as we have opportunity, we preach. We go out and distribute books, we go out and distribute prasadam, we go on Harinam, we tell others, our contacts, please chant the holy name of Krishna, please come to temple and associate with devotees. And please read Srila Prabhupada books. So in that way, the conditional influence of three modes by which so many conditions are there on the consciousness of the soul will get purified, will get eradicated, and pure souls will be there. And that is how the society will improve. That is how a sinful person will become sinless. That is how envy, lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, all the 6 anarthas will go away. Today in society, the criminals who out of 6 anarthas perform sinful activities, they are arrested and put in jail. And how many jails are there in India? So many. How many prisoners are there? So many. But more are outside, because they are not yet caught. The definition of criminal is when you are caught, you are a criminal. Till you are not caught, you are a respectable gentleman. Right? But most are criminals only, inside or outside. So when criminals go inside the jail for say few months or few years, when they come out, they are still criminals, they continue their criminal activities. They don't change, they don't reform. So this institution of prison is not rectifying, just giving punishment. But a criminal continues to be criminal even after punishment. Then the society will, how the society will improve? What we are doing is we are just filling jails, overpopulated jails, and some cannot go inside because they know loopholes of the law. And when this come out, others go, but the number of criminals keep increasing. We are not changing their heart. The lust, anger, greed, violence is not going away. Now let me ask you another question. Who is feeding the criminals in the jail? Government or you? From where is government getting money? Your tax. So the person who is not a criminal not only has to earn for his family members, he has to earn for those who are in the jail also. So your tax money goes in feeding the criminals. And you have no choice. You have one choice. One choice you have. Instead of feeding the criminals in jail, if we give money to ISKCON and feed people in general and preach, they will become purified and they will not become criminals and they will not go to jail. So either you feed them before going to jail or you feed them after going to jail. You have to feed. So if you give charity, you feed them before going to jail. If you don't give charity, you give tax and you feed them after going to jail. You have to feed them. Tell me which is better. Before going to jail you feed, they become reformed and there is less danger in the society. After going to jail, anyway you have to feed them. You can't tell to the government, look, I am giving tax but don't give it in the jail. You can't tell that to the government. So if we preach Krishna consciousness with our wealth, with our intelligence, with our body, skill, talent, contacts, strategies, planning, brain, then people will not become criminals. And this institution will reduce. Real reformation will take place. When lions and tigers who are supposed to be violent can become non-violent. We have example of Mrigari, who was a hunter, who would kill animals half and enjoy their pain. He became non-violent sadhu and he didn't even want to kill an ant when he was paying obeisances to Narad Muni. We have example of hippies in New York and San Francisco who were staying on streets, who would take drugs, who would move around naked, smoking and drinking and changing female partners every day. They became pure devotees and sannyasis in ISKCON movement. We have examples of each one of us. Before Krishna consciousness, what we were. And if we have not taken to Krishna consciousness, what would we be doing today? But now what we are. Our habits have changed, our character has improved, our personality has improved, we become more pure than earlier. So this change is visible by Krishna consciousness movement, by chanting the holy name, by Srila Prabhupada books, by temples. So if we all join hands together, more and more change will happen in the society. That is the real contribution to the society. That when lions and tigers can be purified, why not humans? So this is the purpose of this International Society for Krishna Consciousness. To change the whole world by a very simple process of chanting the holy name of Krishna, by a very simple process of attending Mangala Arati and having darshan of Radha Ras Bihari, paying obeisances, honoring prasadam, reading books, distributing books, hearing classes, by a very simple process. So a very nice environment is created in the society. Today's environment is full of fear. All the security systems today are based on this fear. Every single passenger who goes to the airport is a potential terrorist. Potential terrorist. That's why he's checked. Fear is there. We have big institutions like IIM and IITs, but they can't guarantee character. Can any IIT man go to with his I-card in the airport? I don't need security check. I am from IIT. My character is best. No, he will also have to undergo. Because there is no guarantee that after studying IIT or IIM you will have good character. But devotees have good character. Those who are sincerely practicing Krishna consciousness, they have good character. And if you are on the road and you meet a stranger with tilak, kanti, dhoti, kurta, would you not have trust? Oh, he's a devotee, I can trust him. He will be of good character. So sadhu in saffron dress is trusted because he is of good character. Unfortunately, there are some who misuse this facility. That's why betraying in a devotee dress, in the name of a devotee is bigger offense, seventh naam aparadh, committing sinful activities on the strength of devotional service. That I am a devotee so I can do this, he is trusting me. So breaking somebody's trust or speaking lies or cheating somebody in the process of practicing devotional service is very big naam aparadh. So this character formation is possible not in schools and universities, and I should not say, but not even today in families, where parents are not role models and children are left to watching TVs and mobile, internet and YouTubes, where they are seeing all kind of dirty things, including cartoons which also has sex and violence. Cartoons are not supposed to have sex and violence, but there also is sex and violence. Right now, boys and girls, they don't want Barbie dolls, they want guns and cars as toys. So this is only possible through this preaching. So we are fortunate to come in contact with Krishna consciousness movement, and we can create good fortune for others, our relatives, our friends, by increasing this. Violence or envy is there deep in the heart. Because I am envious of others and others are envious of me, so there is competition. And there is fear. Fear of future. Kal kya hoga? Insecurity, fear of money, fear of health, fear of losing wealth, fear of losing loved ones, fear of losing reputation. It's all fear, fear, fear. Fear is more dangerous than the actual danger. Because the actual danger may kill you the day you come in contact, but the fear of that danger kills you every day. Like fear of COVID. Fear of COVID has created so many rules and regulations. COVID has not created, fear of COVID has created. Of course, we encourage you to follow government guidelines. But at the same time, once there was a village, when there were some boys in a village playing outside the village. They were playing in an abandoned house. So playing, one boy said, "Look, my father told me not to play here after 6 p.m. because when it is dark, ghosts come here." Other friend said, yes, my father also told me till 5 p.m. Till the sun is there, you play. Once it's dark, don't come in this abandoned house, ghost comes here. Other boy said, "Hey, main nahi manta. Hey, I don't care, there is no ghost. We can play after 6, no problem." But everybody was saying, no, we will not play after 6. But this boy was very brave. He said, "No, I don't care." So they said, "Okay, we challenge you. You come here night 12 o'clock today and show us." He said, "Yeah, no problem, I can come." But the other boy said, "How will we know he has come? We will not come here to test and see." Because they are afraid. So they gave him a hammer and a nail. He said, "Today night 12 o'clock you come and put this nail in this wall. Tomorrow in the afternoon when the sun is there, we will come and see if the nail is there or not." He said, "Yes." And this boy is very brave. He came at night 12, nobody was there. He went inside and he hammered the nail. Now it was dark, he couldn't see, so by mistake when he was hammering, his shirt also got hammered. The shirt and the nail on the wall. He didn't know, it's dark, he didn't see. So then he turned back and he felt a pull because the shirt got on the... And he thought, the ghost has pulled my shirt. He died on heart attack, by heart attack. Now you tell me who killed him? The ghost or the fear of ghost? Fear of ghost. And this is not just a story. I'll tell you one more example. Many years before there was tsunami. Even in India, South India, many people died. So some people from South India, they started staying here in Nehru Nagar, right near Villeparle. Many people started saying. So we put lots of khichdi in trucks and went and distributed there many days. So one night, there was a rumor that tsunami is coming in this beach. Actual tsunami didn't come, but the rumor came. And there was everybody who had come from South India especially, they were so afraid because they saw the destruction of their houses. So here in Nehru Nagar, they started running on the road, and in night, dark, when they were running, in stampede, many people got killed. So those who ran away from tsunami, they got killed by fake tsunami, from rumor of tsunami. And I was that day coming from Ulhasnagar, had a program. It was night 11 o'clock. And I took an auto from Andheri station to our temple. On our gate, many devotees and securities were collected, thinking what to do, tsunami is going. Because the rumor had spread so much. Many people were out on the road. His Grace Devkinapur was also there. So I came, said, "Gokaleshwar, you heard?" I said, "What happened, Prabhuji?" He said, "Tsunami is coming." I said, "Prabhuji, if it comes, you can't run. Better we go and sleep." Because it was all fake. So many people got killed in fake tsunami. Out of fear that tsunami is coming, they ran and stampede happened. And people got killed. So fear is very powerful. So an opportunity to become fearless is available right now in Srimad Bhagavatam. That even lions and tigers lose their envy. They become natural well-wishers as sadhus. Is available right in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to create revolution in the whole society. At least allow it to create revolution in your life. At least read Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavatam, and it will create revolution in our life. Our life will get transformed. And whatever we are today, will become a better person. So this envy, this violence is complete no. In association of devotees, in community of devotees, there should not be any violence. There should not be any envy. Violence not just means beating. Violence means obstructing other people's growth, material or spiritual. That is violence, hinsa. If you obstruct any person's growth, that's violence. So somebody is nicely serving Krishna and we obstruct, that's violence. Somebody is doing sadhana and we obstruct, that's violence. So in association of devotees, our job is Vaishnava Seva, to help others to grow in bhakti, not to discourage or subdue or out of envy create obstacles. That's not good. Envy harms us, not others. Like there was a lady who was not well. So she called up her physician, doctor, family doctor. So he came, visited, gave her injection, gave her medicines, told her, Madam, 3 days you take rest and take these medicines, you will be fine. She said, thank you, doctor. Then she asked, what happened to me? Said, Madam, you have fever. I have given you injection, the fever will come down. 3 days you take this medicine, your weakness and pain will go away and you will be fine. She said, Acha, how much fever I have? Said, Madam, you have 101 degree fever. You have to take rest. She said, okay, thank you. So when the doctor was leaving, she said, wait, I will call my maid servant, my bai. She will drop you till the gate with your bag. She is downstairs. So, Madam, don't call her. Said, why? He said, I came from down only. She is also having fever. I gave her injection, she must be sleeping now. Said, Acha, my bai has made fever, I don't know. Said, yes, she also has fever. Said, how much? Said, she has 103 degree fever. I said, कैसे उसको मुझसे ज़्यादा कैसे हो गया? How did she got more than me? This envy. How did she got more than me? I am madam, I should get more fever. So envy means your friend is having party and you are crying here. Arey, go and eat samosa, na? So if our friend is growing in life, spiritual or material, and we are unhappy about it, that's not good. We should be happy about it. That's Vrindavan, where everybody is growing. Forest means everybody grows. You see forest, any forest you go, it may not be well designed, but every tree is growing, every animal is growing. They have their natural ecosystem and automatically balanced also. So in the same way, everybody growing, that's Vrindavan, that's temple, that's Hare Krishna land, everybody growing. So envy not required. Envy has no service. Envy should not have any entry in our heart. We should be compassionate well-wishers of everybody and offer our service so that everybody grows in bhakti. That's the society we aspire to live in. And we aspire to create for ourselves by practicing the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam. So again, Krishna is having mock fear of the lion and tiger, just as a play. But in Vrindavan there is no fear from lion, tiger or any such danger, because Vrindavan is spiritual. Krishna is playing with his friends as ordinary boy to increase their love and affection for him. And Krishna will do that the same with us. We should just depend on him and he will make arrangements that our attachment and affection for Krishna keeps on increasing We just have to practice the process given by Srila Prabhupada and the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, and just participate in the process. And our love for Krishna will keep increasing just by chanting and hearing every day. Okay, we will end here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna. If there are any comments or questions, you may please ask. Yes, can we have a mic?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you very much for the wonderful class.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that Lord has to be behaving like an ordinary boy in order to give chance for Mother Yashoda and his friends to think that he is dependent on them. So, what is this property? What is this attribute in anyone's nature? That if the person is dependent, only then the real Vatsalya, the real Sakha Bhav comes. So if a person is omnipotent, then that Bhava doesn't come. What is the reason for that?
Well, this is not for anybody, this is specific for Krishna. And Krishna is God with all powers. And he is everybody's maintainer. And Vatsalya means the mother cares and maintains and protects the child. So if Krishna doesn't exhibit the need of care, maintenance, he doesn't become hungry, then she will not pick up and feed breast milk. So Krishna exhibits naturally these traits so that Mother Yashoda's Vatsalya is visible, is exchanged, and she is joyful in serving Krishna in that way. So this Bhakta Vatsalya, Krishna is Bhakta Vatsalya. He loves his devotee so much that as per the wish and desire of the devotee, Krishna gives them an opportunity and receives service from them. So we are offering here agarbatti and diya and garland and poshak, ornament and dress and fruits. He doesn't need them, but he is accepting and giving us a chance to get purified. So that's Bhakta Vatsalya. Okay? Any more questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, actually, as we know that the world population is 780 crore something, and our ISKCON movement, the devotees, maybe like 5 to 10 lakhs. So, sir, so Prabhuji, this envy that we are conditioned soul, we have our conditioning, and we also comes under the modes of material nature. So, how to on a regular basis, on a daily basis, we can remind ourselves this is such a big enemy that can come and hinders our devotional service. So, anything
Remind ourselves
on a daily basis. In morning sadhana, we can just remind ourselves that this is something that can be very dangerous for our devotional service.
So in morning sadhana, don't remember envy or curtailing envy. Remember Krishna and hear Krishna's name. That's why we are doing sadhana, to remove envy. Right? So when we are doing sadhana to remove envy, we don't have to be envy conscious. We have to be Krishna conscious. International Society for Krishna conscious, not envy consciousness. What we are removing, we don't have to be conscious of that in the morning. We have to every day chant more so that our heart is cleansed of envy. And second thing, we should act based on knowledge. Envy, the reason of envy is sense gratification. When two people have common sense object, one gets and another doesn't get, then the person who doesn't get is envious of the first. That's envy. If there are two friends, very nice friends, and both want ice cream, and one's father gives, another father doesn't give, then this friend will be envy of the other. That, oh, he got ice cream, I didn't get ice cream. So envy is because of common sense gratification. When a cow is there and she wants a banana skin and you want banana, there is no envy between you both. You will take banana and throw the skin and she will eat the skin and both are happy. But if both want banana and there's only one banana, then there's common sense object. Then there will be envy. So envy is because of sense gratification. So we should reduce our sense gratification. When I don't want a particular sense object, I don't want, and somebody else gets it, I will not be envious. But if I want and another person also wants and he gets it, then I will be envious. So we should reduce our material requirements, we should reduce sense objects, we should be okay if I don't get, then we will not be envious. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yes, Sharad.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu. Thank you very much for the wonderful
Hare
class.
Krishna.
So, very nice description you gave about the Jharkhand forest, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired the lions and tigers also to chant Hare Krishna, even the elephants. Like, I was just wondering that because the Maslow's food chain and what we also called in the as Jivo Jivasya Jivanam, that how one living entity, to survive, to maintain his self, he has to be dependent on another living entity. So I was just wondering that maybe after this pastime, was it only limited for that particular time period? Because like we see even other characters like Garudji and other people. So because Krishna has designed this carnivorous animals, right? So probably it looks like then there are no such carnivorous then in the in the Golok Vrindavan, or probably there are no lions, tigers like that. So how to understand that? If you can please clarify.
Well, after they chanted holy name, they went back home, back to Godhead. Why will they stay here eating goats? Right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not only gave them ecstasy, he gave them liberation. They went back home, back to Godhead. Right? So that's how there they are, 400 Vishnu forms, having Mahaprasad. So not when somebody is coming out of his nature, he will go back home, back to Godhead, like Narad Muni. Narad Muni, he had darshan of Krishna in his heart, and after that the darshan stopped. Then Vishnu spoke to him and told him, you will not have darshan anymore, you continue chanting and we will meet next life. Very soon Narad Muni left his body and became Brahma's son. So this material body is inadequate container to carry Krishna Prem. So as soon as Krishna Prem comes, this material body doesn't work. So devotee quits his material body. Because Krishna Prem, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited in his spiritual body, sometimes his body will become 7-8 feet, his joints will come out and foam will come out of his mouth, he'll become unconscious and he will fall, and at night he will just come out of his room even though it is locked. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body is spiritual, but he is teaching us that material body cannot contain Krishna Prem. If you put water in this container, it's okay, but if you put extremely hot boiling water, this container may break. So Krishna Prem cannot be contained in this body, because this body doesn't allow complete exhibition of ecstasy. So devotee who gets Krishna Prem, he leaves the body and goes back. Okay? Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nicely explained about envy. Just thought came to my mind that Krishna is known as Murare, the eternal enemy of the demon Mura. So how is that?
Means how is eternal enemy?
So Krishna uh, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he is above any enmity or friendship. So how he is known as Murare, like the devotees address him Murare, means this envy and enmity comes into mind when this name is being
No,
said.
Murari, Murari. Murari is because he killed Mura. Mura was the Asura who was commander of Narkasur. Right? So Krishna, whenever he does a pastime, he gets a name. And that name is eternal. Even though Murari, there is no longer Mura here, but still he killed Mura, so his name is fixed, Murari. Like in Golok Vrindavan, he is not stealing Makhan, he is a grown up, but still he is Makhan Chor. In Golok Vrindavan, there is no tying of rope by Mother Yashoda, but the name Damodar is still there. So, point one is there is no longer the demon, but the name is there. And when Krishna is called somebody's enemy, it is not in the sense of relationship, it is in the sense of feeling of that person towards Krishna. So when Krishna is called Yashoda's son, that is a feeling of Yashoda Maya towards Krishna, that he is my son. So Murari is enemy of Mura, that means feeling of Mura towards Krishna, that he is my enemy. From Krishna's side he is Suharda Sarvadehina, he is well-wisher of everybody. From Krishna's side he is actually neither friend nor enemy, he is maintainer of everybody. So Krishna doesn't see Mura in enmity or envious way, Mura sees him in that way. So Murari. Okay? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. So it is Mura's Hare Krishna. So it is Mura's feeling of enmity towards Krishna, not Krishna's feeling of enmity. So, well made point, Prabhuji. Like, similarly, Yudhishthir Maharaj is known as Ajata Shatrava. So he is not feeling envy or enmity towards Duryodhana, but Duryodhana is having it against the Pandavas. So when we are living in this material world, it will happen to us, it happens to us that we are not envious of someone, but others may feel that towards us. And they may do something which is not helping us progress in our Krishna consciousness. So not having envy, does it mean that I leave up the thing, I don't do anything against the plot which is against me, or I can work against the plot and still be non-envious?
Yes, we can protect ourselves, we can protect our bhakti, but not damage or attack others. We should know envy is actually indirect appreciation. There's something in you, that's why somebody is envious. So actually he is appreciating you for that quality or facility or position, whatever. So it's positive thing, somebody is envious of us. That means I have something. So that's Krishna's mercy, that I have something. So we should not respond in the same way. Generally envy should be neglected, upeksha. That's the best way. But if something is coming towards me which is going to harm me, whether the source is envy or not, I can protect myself. So we protect ourselves in devotional service. What happens is we don't protect ourselves, we end up protecting our attachments. And the attack is not on us, attack is on our attachments. So envious person attacks my attachments and I end up protecting my attachments by being nasty or dirty. That's not good. So we protect our devotional service. You can protect your health, you can protect your peace of mind. So self-protection is acceptable, but attacking on anybody, that's not acceptable. Harming others, disturbing others' peace, being violent, diplomatically plotting against others, that's not acceptable. That's not Vaishnava behavior. So if you want to come first, there are two ways. One is you run faster, one you kill the person who is coming first. So you run faster. Our performance in devotional service should be nice. So Krishna will protect us. Prahlad Maharaj never attacked Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was very envious. But Krishna always protected Prahlad Maharaj. So within our limits of tolerance, we can protect ourselves and depend on Krishna. Even if there is a biggest plot against us, we continue our Vaishnava etiquette. Okay? Parikshit Maharaj, there was a big plot of Kali. Kali wanted to spread on the population. But the only reason Kali couldn't spread is Parikshit Maharaj with his bow and arrow standing. And he didn't give opportunity to Kali to spread. So Kali plotted against Parikshit Maharaj by going in the intelligence of Shringi. And Shringi cursed Parikshit Maharaj to die in 7 days. Now Parikshit Maharaj had a chance to go to Shamik Rishi and beg forgiveness. Parikshit had a chance to counter curse. Parikshit had a chance to kill Takshak right with his bow and arrow on the spot. Parikshit had a chance to do a yajna with mantras to kill all the snakes of the world before that 7 days. His son did that. Parikshit had a chance to create a very big fort and stay inside so that the snake doesn't come in. But he went in open with folded hands on the bank of the Ganges, left everything dependent on Krishna. And because Parikshit didn't go against the plot, we have Bhagavatam today. If he had went against the plot, why would Shukdev Goswami would come and speak Bhagavatam to him? So because Parikshit tolerated, we have Bhagavatam, you tolerate, world will have some other gift. At least world will have a good example. Right? So devotees, they should not plot against the plotter. Okay? Any more questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, envy is there because of the presence of the three modes of the material nature?
Yes. Conditioned soul has envy because of 3 modes. Because of sense gratification.
So if one overcomes lust and this thing, so envy will disappear?
Well, one has to purify, and when one overcomes 3 modes, envy will not be there.
So how does it reciprocate in the spiritual world?
There is no envy in the spiritual world.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Envy is not present there. Any more questions? Okay, we will end here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.